Welcome to the Geek Envy Podcast, episode 48. My name is Matt, and this podcast is about video games, geek culture, and anything else we feel like talking about. We are back. Some of us have been sick, so bear with us, please. If you hear any weird noises, it's probably just Joey and I dying from the plague.
We still here, though.
We're also joined by Courtney, again, as usual.
It's me, the monster!
Eric went back to the Poconos. I'm assuming his wife took him somewhere.
I heard he got out on parole.
Oh, yeah.
But then he couldn't help himself. Got himself arrested again.
No.
Now he's back in the clink.
I mean, that's where he podcasts from, so you think he'd have all his stuff there.
Oh, true.
And we're also, we have a special guest today. Welcome back to the show, friend of the show, Clint.
How you doing?
Oh.
It's great to be here.
Loyal listener.
Yeah, I'm putting up a care package for Eric in prison.
So I have a question. If you're on the podcast that you listen to, do you then listen to the podcast that you are on?
I absolutely do, and I did the last time, and as I said, I felt like I sounded absolutely terrible.
No, you sound good, man.
I laughed a lot, and I was like, dear God, I feel bad for these guys to have to deal with this for
Have you heard me at all in any of these episodes? That's literally all I put in.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that you guys asked me to be back, and I'm excited to spooky talk. It's 'tis the season.
Spooky time.
It is the season. I wanted everyone to have like a monster voice for this show, but there's not that.
That's my normal voice. My normal voice is my monster voice.
This is my monster voice.
I feel like that'd be like kind of cool for like a minute.
Yeah.
And then it'd be really annoying. Everyone would be like, I'm turning this off.
Do you guys remember Xbox Live when it first started? How you could put the voice synthesizer and you can give yourself like creepy voices? This is back in the Xbox One, like the original Xbox days. Like you could set your voice to sound different. It was fun for like 2 minutes. It literally was. We're like, oh, right, this is awesome. And then you're like, wait.
It's like
how
super
many
creepy.
other people are
like,
doing this?
Yeah,
it just got annoying.
Throat.
You're like, everybody and their mother was using the robot voice, and you're like, all right, come on.
I never had an Xbox One.
Really?
Yeah, and Courtney wasn't born yet, so she didn't have one.
Fuck off! I do, and I did.
She's like, I had the box.
That's the one I fucking played Halo on all the time.
That's the one.
That's the guy.
Funny story.
My guy.
Never played Halo. Yeah.
How could you not see Master Chief and all his beauty?
I played too. It was back when I worked at GameStop. About 14 of us would play Halo 2 every night.
Halo 2
and
is so good.
It was debauchery, straight debauchery. It was us making fun of each other's mothers and every type of obscenity, but it was a lot of fun, and I think that's when online gaming was like super innocent in the sense where everybody was just out to have a good time. You know what I mean? As opposed to now where everybody wants to be an esports champion. So
I think everyone was just shocked that it was happening. Like, oh shit!
Yeah, it was just mind blown
from like way over here.
I literally remember starting playing at 8 o'clock at night and looking at the clock, and it was like 4:30 in the morning, and realizing I have to be at work in like 3 hours. I was like, ooh, this is not going to be good.
Hell yeah.
And then doing it the next day all over again, you know? But whatever.
All right. Let's keep this moving.
So stick around for the end of the show for a very exciting announcement that I don't know what it is.
No, that's an accident. There's no sneaky announcement.
Okay, that was from last episode. That's what I thought. I was like, what is
We're going to announce it again!
Do we have another announcement? Anyways, well, let's recap last episode.
We already gave it away. Eric's in jail again.
That's the sneaky announcement, so it's there.
That's the announcement.
So last episode, if you want to give it a listen, if you haven't already, Joey and I had a trip to New York Comic-Con where Clint here was actually our innkeeper. He wasn't on the last show, but you'll hear about him because we stayed at his place. We also have an upcoming panel at Anime USA here in So Joey clearly wrote this because it said here. He's the only one who lives there. In Washington, D.C., Geek Envy's History of Lewd Gaming. The panel is going to be super late Friday night, Saturday morning at... Are we saying the time yet? Is that cool, Courtney? Courtney?
Yes. Yeah. Say the time.
So we can say the time?
It's on the guidebook. Yep.
Okay, cool. We didn't know if it was official yet, but it is at 12 a.m. in the video game panel room, Washington 3. So see you guys there.
Friday night / Saturday morning.
Correct.
Yeah.
So 12 a.m. is an ambiguous time.
Go there Friday.
The midnight hour.
Until it's Saturday, and then our panels then.
And hang out with us.
So question, does that mean, like, say I go Friday?
Uh-huh.
Does that mean, like, they just kick me out? Or do I need a Saturday ticket? But the Saturday tickets they probably don't hand out until Saturday morning, right?
Yeah, I think you're good.
So, like, what do you do?
Saturday doesn't start till, like, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, if you want to go one night, go Friday.
Yep, pick Friday as your day.
Don't be scared.
I'm so loving.
There will be implied nudity.
There will be maybe a titty.
Not actual nudity, but implied nudity. Definitely.
One single titty.
Yes.
One's all you need.
I don't know what's happening. So we'll also have some limited 1-inch buttons at the panel. So come by and snag our first ever swag. Snag some swag. Shout out to Button Town for a quick turnaround on these and getting them to us in time for the panel.
Whoa.
Go check out their.
Wait. How do I get a button? I can't. If I can't go.
Oh, don't worry. We'll give you the hookup, man.
Can I be on like the mailing list or something?
We'll see. Maybe you'll get a care package.
Oh, see, that's awesome.
You might have to pre-order this. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. They might be sold out. Who knows? It depends on how many people show up at this thing, right? Go check out Button Town store on Etsy. That's town with an E at the end, like ye old times, and order yourself some buttons.
That's right. Spend that money.
So today, to get into the Halloween spirit, we're going to be talking about our favorite creepy, scary films for the Halloween times.
It's almost here.
It's almost here.
Excited.
Yeah.
My favorite.
My favorite time of year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all that candy's on sale the day after. That's what I'm waiting for.
All right.
Scary time for my diabetes.
Oh God. How are we gonna do this? Just jump in? Do we want to go back and forth? Do we want to each say one and just go around until we're through all of them?
Yeah, we could do that. We could count down each person.
Yeah.
One. Are you guys gonna give like a reason why that movie stands out to you guys?
I will be defining my reason.
Yeah, not an important. It doesn't have to be like an important reason.
One thing we don't want to do on this is like, especially with scary or horror movies, like you don't want to spoil the twist, you know.
Right.
So you might want to like kind of give a hook and say why, like the impression it gave you, and then be like, hey, you should watch it, because later on we might be doing something on a future episode when we'll do a deep dive and it'll be like spoiler heavy, but this isn't it. So don't worry if you haven't seen these movies, we won't spoil them that much.
Yeah, maybe
they'll
not
be
that much.
Slightly spoiled. So
you'll still be spoiled just by their very nature of existing.
You never know. Maybe they'll hear this and be like, hey, maybe I want to check that out for myself.
That's true.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Clint, why don't we start with you?
All right. Well, so we're going to start at 5, or does it matter what order?
Ooh, I didn't put mine in order.
Yeah, I didn't put mine in order either.
Okay, so I will give you guys my number 1. It is not only my favorite horror movie, but it is my favorite movie of all time, and it is Jaws.
Oh,
a classic.
Yes. It's one of those movies that, whether it's on 2 in the afternoon or 2 in the morning, if I scroll past it, I will be finishing watching it, because it's been a part of my childhood. Funny enough, it was the number 1 movie of the summer the year I was born, so that's funny.
You're a Jaws baby.
It's one of those movies where you can't say that movie hasn't affected you in some type of way. Like, you can't get in the water and that music doesn't play in your head and you start looking. You can be in a pool in a square pool where you're not in the ocean, but you hear that music and you're going to look over your shoulder just because that movie affected you that way, you know?
Yeah, I was surprised I didn't see Jaws on more like top horror film lists.
Yeah.
Considering that it has really changed like the landscape of like
absolutely
general culture.
For sure.
All time.
Yeah, I think that is one that I'll always watch. That's like up there with like Back to the Future and a couple others that if it's like on TV, and Ghostbusters, like I'm watching it. Like it's happening.
Yeah.
And it's really giving sharks a bad rap. Like that's my only thing against it. Other than the fact that sharks actually do attack people.
I don't know. I hear about it all the time. Like there's always someone in the news like dying.
We got a Shark
If you read articles, there's a better chance of you getting hit by lightning than really getting eaten by a shark.
Do you think like all the sharks watched Jaws and now they're like, we have to behave this way, and it's like affected shark culture?
I think that all the sharks were like, listen, now these guys are killing us for no reason. Now we're going to give them a reason to come looking for us. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why they followed up with Shark Tale, the animated movie.
Yeah, that was. I didn't even want to ruin the shark's image by watching that. Will Smith, come on. Will Smith's the shark.
My favorite anime.
Oh man! All right, Courtney, what about you?
My first movie that I'm gonna say is The Midnight Meat Train. It is a psychological thriller about a photographer, and he gets into trouble basically trying to put his nose in places he doesn't need to be putting his nose in. It's really good, has a fucking insane twist at the end, like totally never would have ever called that, and I definitely think you should check it out because it's not a movie you typically hear about. I never heard of it. I picked it up at Walmart. I just saw it and I was like, Midnight Meat Train? Is that about dicks? And it wasn't. So
well, if I would have seen it, I would have thought it was a movie about dating.
No. But it's
a dating movie where you all meet on a train.
There you go. Yeah, that sounds great.
Is there a train involved?
Yes, and meat and midnight. So it's not false midnight. Advertising. It's really, really good, though, and I definitely suggest watching it.
By meat train, it's MEAT.
Yes, yes, like the food meat.
Like
not
flesh.
MEET. Yes, like flesh. Oh. Yeah.
I see.
Boy. It's really good. Really good.
Awesome. Check it out.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to go to Walmart now because of this.
This is like a straight to DVD film.
It was. Well, as far as I know.
I think it was one of those like IFC After Dark, like those horror channels.
It might have been.
Oh, yeah. They'll usually play those like during the Halloween season. They'll just start picking like movies and just playing.
Yeah, normally they debut them on the cable channel and then they go to DVD. Yeah, I think it was one of those. Either that or it was like limited release, I think. That's actually one of the few movies that Courtney listed, since I know the future, that I have not seen, so I'll have to check that out.
Well, too bad you don't live closer. I'd just like watch it with you because it's really good. I kind of want to rewatch it. So.
Well, I mean, we'll hang out sometime.
Yeah, come over, visit.
All right, let's do it.
Come on over.
All right, Joey.
All right, I'm gonna go in order of my youth because thanks to my mother, I've seen way too many films that I shouldn't have at a certain age. And one of the first films, we watched a lot of horror films, and not all of them are actually scary in any way, but one of the first films that really messed me up was Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh man, that movie's crazy.
Yeah, and the general synopsis is that like a UFO lands on Earth, and instead of it being like a spacecraft, it's a circus tent, and then hijinks ensue, mostly consisting of murder by alien clowns.
That's actually a pretty great movie for what it is, honestly.
Yeah, I definitely remember watching it, and first of all, it's clowns, so it's already creepy.
Yes.
They're from outer space, and obviously I'm not going to give away any of the movie, but
they kill.
Yeah.
It's in the title, guys.
They're not here to make you laugh.
That's right.
So.
But yeah, this movie, like I was already, I'm not super into clowns, and I think at the time I already wasn't super into clowns. I'm not sure why, but this like cemented that fact that me and clowns,
never again.
No, pass.
All right. Well, check out that movie if you want to be scarred.
Yeah.
From clowns. So I'll start with my probably the least horror film out of my list, which is The Mothman Prophecies, which is kind of a movie that I feel like kind of went under the radar. With Richard Gere was the main character, and it kind of details the Mothman monster or cryptid that has a legend, I think, in West Virginia.
That's my native. Yep. You guys should definitely come down next September 2020, and we should go to the Mothman Festival.
Oh my gosh,
Please.
I want to go there so bad.
Me too.
This is like one of my favorite movies of all time. Just so you know.
Listen, I watched a documentary on the Travel Channel about it, and these people were like going in like these crazy little caves looking for it, and I was like, no. Even if it's
Let's do it, Matt.
No,
we're probably just gonna drink at the festival. We're not gonna go to any caves.
Have you met us?
Oh wait, well Courtney might.
I might go into caves.
Courtney's wandering the caves. We're like, no, we have to go to bed. We're out too late.
It's 10 p.m.
Old man.
He said it's 10 p.m.
So, anyways, this movie isn't like a kind of like jump scare type horror film. It's not. I wouldn't even really classify it as horror. It's more like a thriller. It just has the most ominous, creepy atmosphere, and the whole time you're like, what is happening? And I don't know. It like the first time I saw it, I just couldn't stop watching it, and I've probably watched it like 5 or 6 times since. I just really love that movie. So
I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely been curious about watching. I remember watching the commercial when it was coming to theaters, and I was like, what is this about? And then I started looking into it, and I was like, ooh, this is pretty cool, but I just never got to see it. But now, now I think I might check it out.
It has like the best vibe. Check it out. You'd like it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good. I like all those like creepy type movies like that. Okay.
All right, well, I think it's back to you, Clint.
Oh, it's back to me? All right. Well, listen. You can't say horror without thinking about The Exorcist.
Oh. Someone had to do it.
I will have to do it because to this day there are still scenes that I'm just like, ooh, yeah, no, like Linda Blair, you're giving me nightmares, and I'm a grown man, It was just, I remember watching it the first time. I must have been 11.
Oh God,
yeah, too young.
Like never slept again.
It was one of those situations where you just happen to walk in onto adults like watching it, and you're like, hey, what's going on? Oh my gosh, what is this? I believe it might have been the crucifix scene. To people that know, have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go ahead and say it, but it was that, and head turning, and I believe in the later releases there was the spider walk down the stairs, and I was like, yeah, you still get me to this day,
Yeah, what hit me hard with this one was at a young age, like still being very much involved in Catholicism, like being shown this side of religion that's not safe.
Agreed.
Like we're like, I'm not even safe religiously.
I went to Catholic school, so priests were all happy, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, nice guys you talk to and talk about whatever, and then you see this priest and what he's dealing with, and like, oh my God, like I don't ever want to go to church again if this is what they got to deal with when they're not in mass, you know what I mean? And I'm just like,
it's wild.
The Exorcist. Great movie.
I've actually never seen that movie.
Oh man,
you need to
time.
really watch it. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
It's one of those movies that's timeless. It doesn't matter.
It's classic. It's so good.
How old it is, it's really messed up.
Yeah. Like The Shining. Shining's like that. Timeless.
You know what?
Yeah, like a classic. You have to watch.
I watched The Shining. I don't get the same reaction that I did from The Exorcist.
Well, okay. So The Shining is about like building dread.
Yeah.
I feel like The Exorcist is just freaky. The whole thing, right? The Shining is just like this like building of dread, and you like don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. That's a good movie. I didn't put it on my list though because it's. I think it's one of the best horror movies of all time, but it's not my favorite. So
yeah. I had
funny thing about The Exorcist. They actually made a TV show out of it that continued the lore. So anybody, I'm not saying you guys have to check it out, but anybody that's into The Exorcist and hasn't seen it, I recommend watching it. It was really, really good.
Well, there's sequel movies too, aren't there?
Yeah, but they were terrible.
I heard one of them was pretty good.
This was legit a sequel to it. The same characters are referenced. I'm not going to go ahead and say it, but yeah, because it would kind of ruin the show. But it continues the storyline that was started in the movie.
Okay, cool.
So, but yeah, it was definitely good. It was on Fox, and it definitely had scenes when you were like, "Whoa, can they put this on television?" So yeah, it's really good.
Awesome.
That was my next one.
I think Courtney was next. I think.
Yes.
Trying to go in order here. I guess
I appreciate
it.
No. I am going to say number 2 is Cabin in the Woods. Definitely another really good movie and probably one of my all-time favorite movies in general. It's about some college students that go on a trip to a cabin, and, well, I think we all kind of know where it goes from there.
Yep, in the woods.
And it is absolute havoc, chaos. There's twists and turns. It's some crazy shit. Just another one of the movies that just kind of blew my mind when the ending came around. So,
also, Joss Whedon. Gotta love Joss
Whedon and Chris Hemsworth.
Very good. I forgot he was in that.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
I will say that movie totally caught me by surprise. It was really good.
It was.
I thought it was going to be one of those cheesy movies, and I was like, I'll watch it anyway. And I was like, wow, this was good. This was so well done.
One of my friends hasn't seen it. Oh, really? Because I just bought the Blu-ray. So if you want, Joey, you can either borrow it or we could just watch it because it's really good.
Yeah, we should just watch it.
Go.
We should definitely watch it. So yeah.
Cool. Joey.
I'm gonna cool us down a little bit since we're just kind of talking like general Halloween films. Hocus Pocus. Y'all remember this film?
I think that's a general Halloween film as well.
Never watched it.
It's good. It's not.
I watched
it's like
it for the first time last year.
It's like something you can watch with like whoever around. It's not creepy, but it's like the general synopsis is like these young kids, like I think there's like one kid who just moved to the town, or like him and his sister moved to the town, and then they moved to like Salem, Massachusetts, and then they find themselves in this old house, and then they accidentally free like some witches, which consists of Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and some other lady. But it's a fun movie. It's like very general Halloween-y. And coming from Texas, like the town they show in it is like very northeastern. So it's like it was kind of different than anything I'd ever seen. And so
Okay.
it was weird. It was weird to like see.
It's quirky. It's
Was
really
this
quirky.
one of the movies that you watched as a child? Like,
Yeah.
was it when you were younger?
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
it's like an early
and you
'90s
just-
movie, right?
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, listen, I know people that swear by it. They love it, and I've never watched it.
Yeah, it has a cult following. Like you see a lot of
Yeah, it
people
definitely does.
cosplaying them, which is like it's a long time later, right?
Yeah,
People
it's
still
a
cosplaying them.
good watch. It's just not scary at all.
Okay. It's not like Meat Train.
No, not like me.
It's not The Exorcist.
but it'll still prep you for like the Halloween feeling.
Cool.
Yeah, so watch Hocus Pocus and then The Exorcist immediately afterwards.
Right.
That'll be like just a smooth.
It's like a palate.
It's actually the
smooth
sequel.
ride. Yeah.
It's the sequel.
All right. Well, for my next pick, this is kind of more of a mainstream horror film, but it's always been a favorite of mine, and that's The Ring, the American remake of it.
Oh man, I was
Okay.
gonna put this on my list.
I've always been kind of, into Japanese type media, and Japanese horror was always something that I was interested in, but I could never really like break into it. And then once The Ring kind of started the chain of them being remade, in America and in English language, and that's kind of when I got into it. And The Ring really got me into that. The thing I like the most about it is that it's really like kind of an engrossing mystery story when you're trying to figure out, what's going on, what's the story, what happened, and like weird stuff's happening that's pretty creepy at the same time. And there's a whole time limit to death type thing going on that kind of like amps up the the suspense, and I don't know, it just
the whole countdown.
It was a good ride with like a satisfying ending when you're like, oh, that's what happened, and then you like understand, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and anytime you have a countdown in a film, it keeps that energy moving. Like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? There's only 4 more days left. What the fuck? So it's like it does a good job of creating that suspense, and it has like super creepy imagery throughout the whole thing.
For sure. It also is set in Seattle, I think, if I remember this correctly.
Yes, it is. Yes.
It's either Seattle or Portland. I think it's Seattle, though. But, like, it's, like, raining the whole time there. So it's, like, the most dreary... I don't know. It just really sets the mood. It's very cool.
It definitely is good. I'll tell you, those Japanese people know how to make some horror movies, because... I don't know if it's on anybody's list, but that Grudge...
Yeah, that was one that came out right after...
Yeah, that was the one, and the next one that came from there.
That one freaked me out when I saw it.
Yeah,
Japanese horror games too. They do.
It's just
they got
that
it.
lady's voice, like that creaking. I was just
That,
that was.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, Clint, what's your next one?
My next one is, it's Halloween. You can't have Halloween without saying Halloween, but it is not the first one. I will say this is Halloween 4.
Have you seen all the Halloweens?
I have. I've except the Rob Zombie ones. I haven't seen the Rob Zombie ones. Something about Halloween 4 that just was extra creepy to me.
What's the difference in this one? Like, is
so
Jamie Lee
this
Curtis
time,
in it?
She is not.
Oh.
In fact, he is going after his niece. I believe it's his niece. The whole movie, and she is totally oblivious. She doesn't know who Michael Myers is. Like that whole history of the family has been disregarded. Like no one talks about it, and it's Halloween. He's bored. He's like, let me go say hi to some family. You know what I mean? Kill a couple people down the way, but something about the fact that this man can catch up to you no matter how fast you run, no matter where you go, and he will always be at the same pace. Like, he'll still walk at the same speed, and he is just this ominous figure in overalls, you know what I mean? Like, and in a white face. And,
yeah, he's all about efficiency.
Yes, and doesn't say a word, doesn't need to say. He speaks through his actions, and I'm all about. I think the most terrorizing movies for me are situational horror movies, where you try and figure out how you would get out of the situation. Like, that's how I see myself in most movies. Like, honestly, when I saw Jaws, I was always like, how would I get off the boat? How would I get back to land? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
In Halloween, I'm like, how am I going to get away from this guy? And every horror movie is always like, I try and figure out, like, what would I do? And I think that's the scariest part, because you put yourself in that position and you're like, ooh, am I going to follow the same lines as this? You always say no, but you don't know, because fear is such a huge factor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, nobody thinks clearly when they're terrified.
That's a good point, and that's something that often ruins horror movies for me, is if the characters make really dumb decisions. Like, I can only take so many dumb decisions before I'm like, oh my god, I would have gotten out of this in a second and killed that dude. So whenever one does it well, and you're like, oh, I don't know how I get out of that, it's really freaky. I get that.
So, yeah, the movie was really good, and there was kind of a twist at the end where it kind of comes full circle. The story of Michael Myers comes full circle, and then that was really good. And then slowly, the Halloween franchise started coming off the rails. And
I hear that the most recent one is pretty good.
The new ones with Jamie Lee Curtis were really
like
really
the
good.
one that just came out like a year or two ago.
Yeah, so the new one comes out this year.
Oh, there's another one.
Yes,
I gotta catch up.
It's the sequel to that one. You could go ahead and watch it. I think that one pretty much just takes away the canon that's been established. So it pretty much goes Halloween, then I'm not sure if Halloween 2 is part of it, and then it goes to the Jamie Lee Curtis ones, to the new ones that are just being made out now. So definitely really good. I would check them out.
Sweet. Courtney.
My next one is going to have to be Get Out, which I think is... No, I was going to say it's my most recent one on the list, but it is not. It's directed by Jordan Peele, who is from... If anybody's familiar with the comedians, Key and Peele, I'm a big fan of them. It's definitely super interesting. It definitely tackles some interesting topics that might not have been approached, I think, in horror previously, or if it has, not from such a big movie. And, yeah, also pretty big fan of it.
So what
and
should
mindfuck.
What should I expect going into this? Like, should I expect more of like a cabin in the woods type movie, or something creepy? Like, what am I?
Psychological thriller.
Yeah, it's not campy.
Yeah, it's not campy at all. It's very well done. Yeah, I would go with psychological thriller.
Yeah, honestly, just watch this movie. It's probably one of the best ones on all these lists. And if we tell you anything about it, it just ruins it.
Yeah, that's why I can't say anything.
You got to go in blind on that one. You
that's what everybody's told me. Like, I haven't watched it either, and everybody's like, "You need to see it." But and then I'm like, "What's it about?" And they're like, "We can't tell you. Just watch it."
I still need to see Jordan Peele's newest one, Us.
The Us, yeah.
I heard that was good too. But I have not seen that one yet.
Yeah, he's really good, man. He's doing work.
You can say like what the general synopsis is. It's like, there's a white girl who's dating an African American man, and she takes him to meet her parents.
Yes, that is the general beginning.
That's what happens.
That's the start. So that's all you can know. Just meeting his girlfriend's parents.
Yeah,
right.
It honestly, like, it has a good balance of being like creepy and like you're trying to figure out the mystery, and then also like at times hilarious.
Yeah,
I guess,
and I think it's pretty too. I know that's going to sound bizarre, but
the
way
it's
it's
shot
shot,
really well.
it is. Yeah. It's very pretty. So overall, just really well done.
That's cool.
I will say that his second movie, while I'm glad I watched it, Us, doesn't live up to Get Out.
Oh,
but
really?
You should still watch that movie too. Yeah,
well,
like it's a good one watch, but it's not like Get Out when it sticks with you. Mm-hmm. Us is kind of like at the end you're like, what?
Okay.
But then you're like, okay, that was cool, I guess.
So I won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Joey, it's all you.
We're going back to me. All right. Going through my list again. My next one is The Sixth Sense. It's hard to talk about this one now just because it's so like overplayed, I guess could be the word. But at the time,
it was like a really big deal when it came out.
Yeah, but I when I saw this, like I caught it at that point where not that many people had watched it yet, and it scared the shit out of me. Like, ghosts freak me out, and the way this is filmed, like they did a good job of giving you that that slow build up to a scary reveal in every one of the scenes that this kid is in. And being young and watching these films, it's always freaky when like the main character of the film is also like around your age.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think we need to explain the synopsis of this since like everyone's probably seen it.
Yeah, this is like it's like Jaws,
Yeah.
Funny story about this movie. I remember when it did come out, and I remember a bunch of my friends and I were getting very excited to go see it in the theaters. We ran into one of our buddies who went ahead and spoiled it for us.
Oh, it got spoiled for me before I saw it too. So.
And we looked at him and we're like, "Are you kidding us right now?" And we still went to see it, and it was still good.
It was still good, yeah, even spoiled. But I wish that
yeah,
hit me.
I really wish I wouldn't have known what was going to happen, because it was if we didn't know, we would have been like, "Whoa,"
Yeah,
for sure.
It's so much different. I don't know, these types of films, it's hard for them to like almost live on just because that twist is just so broadcasted. It's really weird. It's hard to give anyone like a fresh glimpse into it.
For sure. So, for my next pick, Recently, so horror is a genre that I really enjoy. I enjoy parts of it, I should say. You know, everyone has their own like kind of slice of horror that is their niche. But I've recently gotten into watching a lot of horror films, and so I am constantly browsing the horror subreddit looking for like recommendations and things like that, because I'm not really into slashers and I'm not really into the campy movies. I'm more like a psychological, like mind game or like mysterious weird stuff happening type of vibe. And so a couple times I saw this movie recommended, and everyone always said it was in the body horror genre, which the body horror genre is kind of weird. It normally is like kind of Lovecraftian and kind of like gross, because normally something's happening with your body, you know, like a classic example would be The Fly, yeah. Or actually pretty much any Cronenberg film. Like, I don't know if anyone's seen Existenz, but that's a great body horror film. If you ever want to like go down the rabbit hole of weird body horror films, watch Existenz. But that's not the movie I'm talking about right now. So this movie is called Spring, and it's actually a romance. It's directed by Aaron Moorhead and, oh man, I have to look it up, Justin Benson. And they are some indie directors. They directed a film called Resolution, that's, I believe, is on Netflix, and a film called The Endless that's on Netflix. And those two movies are related, and they're also both excellent, so I'd recommend those two. But Spring is the one that really stuck with me, and they call it a romantic science fiction body horror film. And without spoiling too much, it's about an American guy who, you know, some hard things happen in his life, and so he goes traveling to get his mind clear, and he goes to Italy, and he's in a coastal town in Italy, and he meets a girl, and then some weird stuff happens. And like the whole movie is just like the location it's at is just beautiful, and the whole time you're like, man, people live in this place, and it's so cool. But then there's like this creepy stuff happening too, and it's very cool. And it's a believable romance at the same time, so it's like kind of like you're rooting for him type deal, you know.
Does he go to like the countryside of Italy, or is it just like some Italian city?
It's like an Italian like one of those coastal towns that's like on the cliffs on the water.
Okay.
So it's like almost like somewhere you would go, like almost, it has like a beach, but it's like real rocky and stuff like that. Like somewhere you would go vacation probably. But it's like, yeah, out in the country. It's like a small town. Everyone knows each other type deal.
Interesting.
But yeah, so that's probably the least known film on my list, but I would definitely recommend it. I was really into it when I saw it. I actually only saw it about a year ago, I think. I don't think it made very much money. I think it made like $40,000 or something.
Sounds cool though.
Yeah. But yeah, that's that. Clint?
All right. You guys are like delving deep, and you have all these genres. I'm just basically like the normal like horror guy. Like my next one is Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger, you know, coming into your dreams.
Classic.
Well, you need the classics, so it's good that you're talking about them.
That movie freaks me out more than all those other classic ones.
Yeah, it's like
something about the bed.
There's definitely yes. Hey, Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
One of Johnny Depp's first roles. Yeah, it's just something about that movie. It was just very, very creepy, and like you really, again, it like Jaws, like you really affected you, like you couldn't sleep at night. And Robert Englund, like to this day, you can't see that man and not think of Freddy Krueger.
Yep.
You know, I know Jackie Earle Haley did the remake, and while he was good, he still wasn't Robert Englund. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That is Freddy Krueger. Like even when he's not doing the voice, like you see him, and you're just like, yo, that's Freddy Krueger. The claws, as terrifying as the movie was, I think that Halloween, everybody had the sweater and the hat and the claw, like running around, and I'm running around in like a beat up, like camouflage outfit that my mom made for me because I wanted to be a commando. But yeah, no, it's terrifying. I think I tried to watch the second one, but I was still too terrified of the first one that I didn't want to watch it. I think the next one I did watch was 3, and that's because they kind of like are like, oh, well, this is how we counter it. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I can counter it when I go to sleep too now. I have the formula, you know what I mean? And like that's when I was okay with watching it. And Yeah, it's so good. The music, like who didn't know the nursery rhyme? The 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Like the girls jumping rope outside, and it's so good.
It's super
So
creepy.
good.
A lot of these,
Wes Craven.
a lot of the movies from this era like really messed up different aspects of our normal livelihood.
Like you wonder, can these movies be even made now? You know what I mean? Like, I doubt it. I don't think they'd capture that same magic that they did back then.
Right, because nobody really hit up those ideas
Yeah.
until then, and now it's like you got to do something different.
Yeah, that's my next one. Yep. It's very good. Definitely one of the classics. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what to tell you. Go watch it. And good luck trying to go to sleep after.
Cool. Courtney.
As Above, So Below is my next one. It's about I believe she's a journalist, and she's an alchemist scholar, and she is studying the Philosopher's Stone. And in order for her to get the Philosopher's Stone, she has to go under the catacombs. She has to go to the catacombs of Paris. And that's kind of like the general synopsis. I don't really want to say anything more than that. But it's kind of a little bit... It's not as much of a psychological thriller as I think some of the other ones I've listed, but I still kind of liked it. I thought it was interesting.
That's a good movie,
Yeah.
for sure. Also,
different.
first found footage film on anyone's list so far. But I know
is
found
it?
footage gets a bad rap, but
Yeah.
this is actually one of the good ones.
It is really good.
Yeah.
So she like takes a handheld camera with her.
She has a film... she's filming... For some reason, she's filming it. I think she's in school. And I think for a project, she's filming her finding the Philosopher's Stone. So one of the people with her is a cameraman.
Gotcha.
So that's who's capturing it.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. Really good. Super good. And the Catacombs of Paris is a real place.
Yeah, and I think it's filmed
it's
on location
very, very
too, which
creepy.
is
I
very
think it
cool.
is too, yeah. It is.
That's awesome.
Definitely a good movie. Definitely check it out. Underscore.
Joey.
Oh,
Wait, is this our last one?
no, we still got
No,
one
we
each.
got two more. We got two more each.
No, one more each. You got two
One
more.
more.
But
Oh, I got two more.
well, I have two more
Okay.
also.
Well, I went last because it
yeah,
makes
I feel
sense.
like,
We can all
I feel
count.
I feel like Clint and I are covering like early horror, and you guys are
Yeah.
covering like all the deeper horror, all the deeper.
There's such good new horror. And there's...
Indie horror is the best.
Yeah,
It
I'm missing out on
is.
all this stuff. But anyways, yeah, like
Yeah,
we need
me
to have a
too.
movie night, guys.
It's
This
like-
needs to happen.
I'm like writing these things down.
You should.
To watch
The
this.
thing that's cool about indie horror is normally these guys have like no budget, so they don't rely on special effects at all. So they have to create the tension and dread through like creativity, and it just makes it so much better.
Well, I was reading, not to like go too off key, but I was reading an article while I was trying to figure out what movies I wanted to put down, and it was top 5 movies that took like no money to make but grossed an obscene amount. And I didn't even realize some of these movies didn't take as much as I thought they would to make. But I feel like horror movies have a good, like, if you can sell it, you make a lot of money, because for some of you, like, you can just use enough like mind play and manipulation of cinematography, and you can definitely make a scary movie for a low budget.
yeah, you don't
sure.
need like elaborate sets.
Yeah, you don't need, special effects or computer graphics.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've seen some Sweet 16s that were like horror movies.
I've seen some chick flicks that were like horror movies.
Agreed. But yeah, mine's kind of another one of those films where like now we can't really appreciate it like we did when it first released. But it's Saw, and
Oh, that's still a good movie.
it's I mean it's the
The
best.
first
of the
one is
series.
still great. We can
It
still
spawned
appreciate
the
it.
series, and it really did kind of break new ground at the time. It featured one of my favorite actors, Carrie Elwes. And it was just, I don't know, it was just something different, something unique, and it kind of pulled me back at the time into caring about horror films again. I think it's like one of those films that like pretty much everyone has seen now, and so you kind of, you kind of almost like you almost feel like there's certain films where every film after it takes what they've learned from that film and kind of builds on it in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. So like every Death Game movie is like Saw copy. Yeah.
Saw was going to be on my list too, so I think you're spot on. A good movie, Joey.
Yeah, that was going to be on mine too.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly never saw those movies when they came out. I saw Saw probably like 5 or 6 years ago, and I thought it was great still.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Again, it was one of those movies where you put yourself in the situation like, oh my God, what would I do? You know? And that's terrifying because you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to pay for this one way or another. And
yeah, I would.
It was so good. It was done so well. For its time, it was mind-blowing.
I'd be terrible in any of these situations.
Yeah, me too. Especially at the end. I don't know if I would have been able to do that, you know?
Yeah. All right, Matt, back to you.
All right. Well, I've been talking about a lot of indie films, so I got another one to share, but I'm going to skip that one for now and go to a very mainstream film that, honestly, I like horror a lot, and narrowing it down to 5 was really hard. So this is just what was on my mind recently. But I can never create a top horror film list without Alien being on there, because that's one of my favorite films of all time.
It's a classic.
I've never seen a sci-fi film set in space that scared me before that. Since then, I have seen more, but that one was definitely the feeling of claustrophobia, and it had a body horror thing too, with like the chest bursters and just that feeling of dread and being alone on the ship and the cat and mouse hunt. It's just that movie's always gotten me, and I will still go see any Alien movie that comes out in theaters, no matter how bad they are. I see everyone.
I don't know. I didn't think the recent ones were awful.
Oh, the last one was really bad.
Okay,
but
I haven't seen the last one. I liked Prometheus.
So let me ask
Prometheus was good, for sure.
That's just what my question was for you. What do you think of Prometheus?
I liked it for what it was. But I did not like Covenant.
I did not
Agreed.
see Covenant. I felt that Prometheus was enough for me to kind of give it up.
What's the robot? What the guy who plays the robot?
Oh, that's Michael
Prometheus.
Fassbender.
Yeah. So Covenant is like there's more than one of him for some reason, and it's just like him talking to himself for like freaking an hour. It's the worst. It's just like him like being really into himself, and it's terrible.
I think what ruined it for me was it was billed as like aliens without really being aliens. It's like, I get it. It's where they came from, but everybody was so hyped on this is the pre-aliens, like this is the precursor to aliens, but no, like, so when you finally get to see the story and you realize there's really no aliens in it till whenever.
It's like some mutant.
It's a disappointment because it's so detached.
I get
exactly.
that. I almost like don't even consider it canon. Like it's like something different. Like it's inspired by.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I went into it, and so I was able to like it for what it was. The like shots in that movie are really cool. All those like overhead shots of those mountains and stuff.
It looked beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it looked great. But I had made the mistake of going to see it with a very huge Aliens fan. So the movie was kind of ruined by the fact of how angry he was that it wasn't an Aliens film.
Yeah.
So but it looked great. Was it Rooney Mara was in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the girl in it.
Yeah,
she's a good
was
actress.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was good.
There's like a really like squeamish scene with her in a medical bay in that movie.
So
that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So,
but Alien,
but it's so good.
It's great.
One thing I think is cool about that franchise is Alien managed to be a horror film that's self-contained, but it also sparked like this space opera too.
Oh yeah,
because the sequels and spin-offs are very like they have lore and everything, and they like have like an overarching. There's like a history, like a space opera would be, and even Aliens, the second one that James Cameron did, is like a great action sci-fi movie, but then the first one's like a great horror sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's a suspense thriller.
It's so interesting how it's like they're similar settings with similar monsters, and they can be so different, but both so good. It's very cool. But yeah, anyways, Clint.
Oh, so it's back to me. So
final movie, Clint.
Well, it's kind of a tie because there's two movies that get to me. The first one is Poltergeist. I saw that when I was really young. And
fuck that movie too.
Yeah, no, when the tree and the clown, the old man, yelling Carol Ann. I'm like, oh my god! It's still to this day. I'm like, that old man is so creepy. He's so creepy. The song that he would sing over and over, I can't remember it, but like, I know if someone starts it, I'll know exactly what he's singing. It was terrifying. I saw it again when I was a kid. I saw it a little bit later when I was a teenager, and I was still like, man, this movie is still creepy as all hell.
That movie is like the scariest PG-rated movie ever.
Yeah. Like, I remember I think my parents rented it because it was like a PG movie, and then they watched it, and they like watched their children's the color leave their kids' faces as we're watching it.
Well, also that was back before PG-13, so I bet it would have been PG-13 because that was wasn't that like, didn't like Hillary or something do that?
I'm trying to think. I don't remember.
Someone did that in the 90s. They created PG-13.
It was definitely in the 90s.
I think it was Hillary.
Or it could have been Dole's wife or whatever.
Or something like that.
That movie was creepy. It still is creepy.
It's one of those films that like you feel like, they had The Exorcist, like scary shit's happening, but it's over there. And then with this film, they're trying to be like, oh, love saves all, but they just brought that shit into your home. Like scary shit in your own home.
And then as a kid, you're like, and your parents like, we're moving. You're like, no, I'm not moving to any house that I don't know. We could be living under an Indian burial ground. We could have all this crazy stuff happening to us. No, we're not leaving.
Yep, exactly.
Then there's two, and I think that the little girl died in the third one, right before the third or after the third one.
I never saw the sequels to those.
Really? Yeah, 3 wasn't that bad, but the only reason I saw it is because that the little girl that played Caroline passed. Like, that was the big thing. Like, she had passed as soon as that movie finished.
Yeah, there's all these weird things that happen.
Things going on after that movie. So
right. 2 Steven Spielberg movies from Clint.
Yeah, and then the next one is the other one that I was like right there with it is The Prince of Darkness. This was a movie that I watched probably when I was in my 20s. We just happened to rent it at Blockbuster, and it was so creepy. A bunch of people trapped in a church. Bad stuff coming on, the end of the world. It's one of those situational things where everybody's trapped and they're trying to find a way to get out. And the ending really isn't one of those happy endings. Like, you're just like, okay, what happens next? John Carpenter doing the John Carpenter thing where he makes you think.
I don't think I've ever seen this one.
At the end.
Honestly, like, I almost put a John Carpenter movie on my list too, but Alien beat it. But The Thing was a close 6th.
Oh yeah, but I think to me The Thing is more sci-fi than horror.
Yeah, I would agree.
I put that with Aliens. In that same genre was like space suspense thriller. Yeah. Even though some of those scenes in The Thing are just.
I think horrifying. The whole, like, not knowing who's...
psychological. It's definitely a psychological thing where you're just, like, trying to figure it out.
And, like, you can't trust anyone. That's pretty freaky. So, cool.
But, yeah, those are my last right there.
Those are some good choices. Right. Although
Courtney.
You cheated and got 6 in.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, I've, like, referenced, like, 4 movies on all of mine.
I guess I'll go ahead and say my last one is the newest one, probably will be the newest one on this list for everyone in general. It's Midsommar.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
It's Midsommar.
Midsommar.
Gotta spell it with the O and the A.
I've heard so many great things about that film.
It's crazy. It's a wacky mind bender. Starts off with a young woman whose parents basically commit suicide. And this is all the starting, so I'm not spoiling anything. And you kind of get the background to this girl who's dealing with the loss of her parents and her not ideal relationship with her boyfriend. And her boyfriend ends up inviting her to, someplace in Europe. And he's going on a guy's trip, but somehow they end up bringing her, though nobody really wants her there. And they're doing this project on this group of people, and that's kind of group of people / cult. And it just kind of goes crazy from there. It's wacky. I don't even think wacky is the right word. I just don't know what word to use other than it's insanity. Like, all these movies that I listed are great, and I just want to rewatch them. So
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but
so
I don't think
good.
that's available to stream yet.
I saw the guy's previous movie,
Hereditary. Yeah,
and that movie's crazy too.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. Definitely should see it when it does come out.
Cool. Joey, last film.
All right, I've talked about things that scare me: ghosts, clowns, and another big thing for me is confined spaces. I don't fuck with like tiny elevators or like narrow hallways. No. So my fifth film is The Descent, and this film's about this lady who like went through some tragedy, and she comes over to like go on a trip with her girls, and they're gonna go spelunking. And fuck spelunking. That is scary. Just in general, like, caves are scary. But anyways, they go down into the caves. They're like spelunking and stuff, all happy. Of course, shit goes wrong. And so now, they're however many feet underground with both the danger of something supernatural and the danger of, hey, can we get out of this cave system? And so this one makes me uncomfortable watching it, just because of that fear I have of like being in a confined space.
So can I ask you what made you watch it?
I remember in college we just randomly we're like, hey, let's go watch a film, and like the best rated film at the time was The Descent.
Gotcha.
And so I was there for the experience.
Did you want to like get up at some point and be like, I'm leaving, and just walk out?
I mean, I'm not that bad. I can detach enough to get through it. But, I used to have these dreams where I could feel like a rock pressing down on me. And so it gives me like that same vibe. Discomfort. But it's a well done film.
Yeah, like, honestly, the tight spaces parts of that movie are probably scarier than any other weird shit that happens in that movie.
Yeah, and it's all got this...
Like, when they have to, like, crawl through a tiny hole, you're like, oh my god.
And it's all got this, like, color vibe going to it, like, everything's very reddish, orangish, blackish. So it's done in a cool way. I kind of feel like what Courtney was talking about. Like, I don't know how much this cost to film, but you can tell, like, this is something they probably didn't need to do, like, a crazy amount of things to get the right feeling for.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that is my final film. What is yours, Matt?
All right, well, my final film is also a film that you can currently stream on Netflix, so check it out. Actually, a lot of mine have been on Netflix, so I think about half of them. So you can definitely check them out tonight if you want. But it's called The Invitation, and it is a kind of horror thriller film. It has a really mundane setting. It's about a guy and his girlfriend get invited to a party for the guy's ex-girlfriend, and it's a dinner party. And so he brings his new girlfriend, or his ex-wife. He brings his new girlfriend to his ex-wife's, and they're like, I guess, cool or whatever. But there's some people there, and stuff happens and things get tense, and I can't really tell you anything else without spoiling things, but just go in blind.
Is it a thriller?
Yeah, it's a thriller.
Yeah,
but it's horror. I don't know, it's in the horror genre. Like the whole movie, you're just on the edge of your seat, tense, like what's about to happen.
Listen, bringing your girlfriend to your exes sounds like a horror movie in itself.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. But it all takes place just in like one house. So just they're all in the house for the whole movie. So it's another one of those like low budget, like they didn't really need a lot of sets or anything. But definitely use what they had very well. So I'd recommend it.
Awesome. Which one?
Nice.
Which one of these films like that? If y'all haven't seen one of these films, kind of really pulls you to it and makes you want to put it on right away.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that Mothman Chronicles for sure.
Mothman Prophecies.
That's the best one on my list.
Yeah.
That's
And then I'm not gonna say how, but I'm gonna try and watch that Midsommar. You know.
I want to see that As Above, So Below. That sounds.
Yeah, I remember seeing the commercials for that, and I was like, "Ooh, look, they're in the cemetery in France." I'm like, "Yeah, no, f that noise. I'm good." Yeah, definitely want to. I don't know about that Meat Train.
No, I want to see the Meat Train one.
Please watch the Meat Train.
She
Please
sold
watch
me
it.
on it. I've
Please.
I've had my eye on that movie for a long time. So
Have you?
yeah, I'll probably see Midsummer eventually too, or Midsummer, however you want to say it. But I don't know. I got to be in like the mood for a cult, you know. It seems kind of culty, just based on the
and it's
based on
tough.
the way it looks.
It's kind of
Aren't
a
the
tough watch, though.
Isn't
I'm not
the
gonna lie.
Geek Envy podcast like its own cult?
Yeah, but
very
like
true.
Not
we're the
enough
best.
people.
We're the best kind of cult.
That you guys know. You guys don't know what's going on out there.
It's true.
We have some knowledge. A little bit.
Hell yeah.
Question: do you guys know what movie? I know it's a few years old now. I don't know if it was an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It was about the people trapped in an elevator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was called.
Do you know?
Was it called like
what was
Devil or something?
Is that what it was called? I always wanted to see that. I know
No,
Joey's
I
not gonna
can't
watch it
remember.
because they're all in it.
Yeah, they're supposed to be trapped in the elevator with the devil or something. I thought it was like, hold on, M. Night.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Actually, I
Shyamalan.
hear that his most recent movie is pretty good.
Which one was
Split
that?
was really good. That wasn't the most recent one, but that was the most recent one I've seen, and it was amazing. I almost put that on my list as well.
Yeah,
Split was good. Yeah, I remember watching that.
I think it's called Glass.
Yeah,
it's like
but
a
that's-
super-
That's
Oh,
the
yeah, that's the
sequel
sequel to Split. Yeah, that's like kind of the sequel to Split and Unbreakable.
Yeah,
Oh, it
the
is. So that's
sequel
the
to
same. Unbreakable is my favorite one that he did.
Yeah,
I
so
think.
it's basically it Split basically ends and it's like shows that everybody is intertwined, like the people from Unbreakable and the guy from Split and Glass is like kind of a culmination of that universe coming together.
Oh wait, is
and
Split?
so on and so forth.
Is Split the one guy that's like evil?
He's the guy with like the 13 or 14.
Okay.
How many is it, Courtney? 13 or 14 personalities or something like that? He's got a lot
It's
of
a lot.
personalities.
I don't remember how many.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a lot.
Interesting.
A lot
I
of
didn't
people
know
trying
I
to
love
talk
that
to him.
actor too. He's so good. He's
James
Dr.
McAvoy.
Xavier in
Yeah,
the
James
X-Men.
McAvoy.
Oh man, he's in the second It, and he's awesome.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he plays
President of the Put.
Bill.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. Yes. I actually
I
want
was
to see
surprised
that
nobody.
too.
I was surprised nobody put it down, either the original or the new one. That's
Well,
pretty
the
fucking
original
creepy.
was like it's like 10 hours long. I remember watching the original.
Yeah,
I liked
it's like
it.
that TV 90s.
Yeah, it's the TV.
series.
Back when Stephen King
Miniseries.
had all those, like The Stand, the Langoliers, the Tommy Knockers. I remember watching all those movies. But yeah, it was good. I liked the first one. I haven't seen the second one yet, but the first one was good. I thought it was good for like a remake.
All right, we did it. You want to hand it off to me and I can outro us?
Yeah, let's hand it off to Joey.
All right, well that was it. If you want some more spooky times, follow us on Instagram. I think we should actually post the list of all our films on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll have to make a graphic.
Yeah, and if you're interested in more spooky times from us, I think in about a week, we're not done yet, we'll do a little sidecast about The Witch, we all watched that or are going to watch that recently or soon, and we'll be talking about that. Spoilers, it'll be heavily spoiled, so go ahead and watch it and then listen with us as we discuss it.
Also, it'll be great timing because I think that director has a new movie coming out right around the time the podcast will probably drop.
Oh, that is exciting.
Which, it's the black and white one with...
The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse, yeah.
That looks really good, too.
It's
Yeah,
only
I wanna
showing
see
in
that.
select theaters because I really wanted to go see it, and the closest theater that has it airing by me is an hour and a half away.
Whoa.
You know where they're showing it, Court? New York.
Oh.
That's more than an hour and a half away, but I'll make the trek down.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like
The
it already
first
came
one
out
is-
on October 18th.
Oh.
So, so maybe
I
this
love
will be
William
a
Dafoe.
little recap of the guy's previous movie, and maybe it'll hype you up for the new one. So
Maybe. All right, but you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube, and online at geekenvy.podbean.com. So hit us up there, like and subscribe. We're on Instagram and Twitter at @geekenvy, and you can send all your comments, suggestions, questions, and any of your horror movie lists. Send that to us at askgeekenvy@gmail.com. We'll see you in a week, and then probably 2 weeks after that, and maybe once Eric's out of prison again.
Yeah, I was just going to say maybe one of us will break him out by then.
See you next time. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye,
Take care,
everybody.
guys.